Whether we like it or not, the front door of the church has moved from the front door of your building to your digital sites. And while our goal is to get people inside the walls of our local church and inside the community of our church body, people in the community are now turning to your website, to your social media, to all of your digital platforms to determine their first impression of your church. And so something that we have introduced as Connect Ministries is the idea of the church first-time guest marketing Hourglass. And this is a new concept that helps churches build a strategy around how to actually build a plan to meet new people through marketing. And so if you haven't heard about this idea, check out a previous video about the overview of the church marketing Hourglass. But this is part 2 of our series where we're gonna dive in to the first phase of this Hourglass, which is part 2, the meet phase.
Yeah, we're super excited about this meet phase because we actually feel like it's a large burden of where a lot of church people are at. Because there's so many people in your community and you guys have such good things going on, great Sunday services, great small groups, great people to connect with, but people aren't coming. People aren't coming to your church, even though you might have a large community. So we're gonna talk today about how you can start building interest within your community.
Now, this has been something that the church has been wrestling with since the very beginning of time. How can we get new people? Because as we've shared previously, the church exists for its non-members. So there's been a lot of different ways churches have tried to meet new people. I mean, think about the time when a lot of churches were getting like a digital sign in front of their property, or they were giving out cookies or attending local events or creating a website back in the early 2000s. But there are so many new ways that we can become even more effective at building a list of people who are interested in coming to your church. So that's what we're gonna share with you today.
Yes, and one of the big things that Nate mentioned was building this list. So we want you guys to keep that in the back of your head as we're going through a lot of these different steps that are going to be included in the meet phase of, we don't want this to just be something you're doing, but we want it to be something you're building a list so that you can continue to cultivate that list. One of the ways that we're engaging with our meet phase is through social media. So there's these platforms like Instagram and Facebook, YouTube, and all these types of things where we can engage with the people where they're at. Lots of people are on their phones scrolling through videos or scrolling through messaging, and we want your church to be at the top of the list where they're interested to see what you guys have going on. Everything's clear. Any questions that they might have before they step in to your church walls could be answered for them. What does your worship service look like on a Sunday? Who's your pastor? How am I going to know who to talk to when I step in the doors? All of those things can be answered on social media, and also you can utilize things such as pin posts on socials. That really helps create a clear direction of what you want to communicate.
Another way that you can drive traffic and interest during the meet phase is through word of mouth. Now, you might be saying, Nate, that's not digital, that's super relational. Well, that's because people is probably one of the most important things about the local church. I mean, we exist to share the gospel with people, and so we want to make sure that our people, our members, are trained on how to share about our church. And a lot of times churches don't have a plan about how are they training their church members to invite new people, what's happening when they invite new people. And so having a good word of mouth strategy is really important whenever it comes to the meet phase and meeting new people.
And to go off of the word of mouth phase, one of the things we really want to hone in on is the importance of your personal testimony. And so as a church leader, we want you guys to be obviously teaching and encouraging your congregation to go out and also be meeting new people, also be trying to connect with people in the community, but it doesn't need to just be a clear cookie cutter way of doing it. And a part of that is by you being real and authentic and vulnerable with the experience that you've had and your relationship and your experience with the Lord yourself, and also influencing your congregation members to be honest and open about what that experience has been like for you, because that's what people are connecting connected to is real, authentic relationships.
So another strategy to meet new people in the meet phase is your church's website. Did you know that about 80 to 90% of people who visit a church have previously looked at a church's digital site? That's a lot of people. That means that whenever someone shows up, their first impression is already solidified. So what does your church website look like? Is there a clear way for them to take a next step? Is the information about your services clear and obvious? Will they feel confident whenever they look at your church's website? Check out the description for more videos on what it looks like to have an effective church website, because as we've already said, there's a lot of people who are going to be making a decision as to whether or not they're coming to your church based on your church's website.
And the big thing that we're talking about today is your first-time guest marketing strategy. And one confusing part that a lot of people have with their website is they make their website with their current congregation in mind. But really, the main focus of your website should be targeting these first-time guests in this strategy. So like Nate said, we need to be making sure we're answering every question they might have on the exact homepage of your website without scrolling. So this would be times of services, location, maybe what your mission is, what sets you apart from other churches in the area. And so this needs to be a big focus on the website, not just for your current congregation. Even though that's still important, it shouldn't be the main highlight of your homepage.
Okay, our final way that we can drive interest and build an interest list in the meet phase is through the use of paid ads. Now, there's some really creative and cool ways that churches can take advantage of paid ads. And whenever you hear paid ads, you might be thinking, oh man, like our church is on a limited budget, like we might not be able to do this. That's totally okay. There is low budget ways and no budget ways, my favorite, ways that you can leverage paid ads. First, let's start with low budget. We have seen tremendous effectiveness with the idea of paid ads on Facebook to get our church's digital sites in front of new people. Something as small as $100 to $200 a month on paid ads can encourage new guests to walk through the doors of your local church. The second way, the no budget way of using paid ads, is through something called the Google Grant. The Google Grant is $10,000 a month of free advertising credits for your church to show up towards the top when someone searches key phrases like churches near me, I need prayer, churches in the area, things like that, so that your church's website is one of the first things that people see when they're searching for churches in the area.
Yeah, and so like I mentioned at the beginning, for us to not forget about this list idea, be creating these lists of interests, this is a big way to start, is through paid ads. So this is where you actually can have the opportunity to get real life contact information with emails and phone numbers, so you can be actually reaching out to these people maybe before they even step into your church walls. Same thing with your website. Your website should host a first-time guest form or maybe a plan your visit form for people that don't know about your church yet, haven't been, but maybe want to have more information, but maybe are scared to ask. They can fill out this first-time plan your visit form and really be added to this interest list, where now they're being communicated through email, text, all types of ways, so that they have all their questions answered before they step in the doors and they already feel like they have a place there.
So you might be wondering, okay, I have all of these people that I'm meeting. I have gotten their contact information, like we're building this massive interest list. Well, what am I gonna do about it? Well, that's actually the next phase. And so now that we've covered different ways that you can drive traffic to build this list, if you'll check out another video that's in our description, we're gonna unpack the two phases that happen in the greet phase so that we can turn people who are interested in coming to our church into people that actually show up.